This blue whale bookmark craft was inspired by the beautiful illustrations created by Matt Schu for our picture book, I Know the Whale. Inside, a little girl discovers a beached blue whale and then sees that same whale's skeleton at her local natural history museum. So this bookmark has two layers, the beautiful skeleton and the blue whale's body. The template for the skeleton layer is linked down below, and to make the body, you can use tracing paper, parchment paper or baking paper, or plain old printer paper. Whatever you have is going to work. Once you print out your skeleton layer, just cut it in half so that you have two bookmarks. This means you're allowed to make mistakes. If you're going to use tracing paper, cut out a piece of tracing paper that will fit almost exactly over your skeleton. I like to start with coloring the skeleton layer down below, and I use whatever colors I'm feeling interested in. Sometimes I scribble, sometimes I shade carefully, sometimes I'll add little dots. I'm just trying to take a few minutes to make something pretty and enjoy the feeling of the paper and the colors that I'm using. Once your skeleton is full of color, you're ready to add the top layer. I'm going to put the tracing paper on top, and I'm going to go around the outline of the whale. The only detail that you really need to add is big fin, that long line for the mouth, and an eye. And then you've got a whale. Again, I'm going to color the whale in, and I'm going to fill it with the colors that I'm most interested in. Sometimes my blue whale is going to be blue, and sometimes it's going to be pink. When you're satisfied with the whale that you have on top, you can tape your two layers together. I like to use double-sided tape, but if you only have single-sided tape, just fold it over and it'll work exactly the same way. I love that the tracing paper is slightly transparent so that I can still see little peaks of the skeleton down below, especially if I hold it up to a window. And when you're finished, you can leave it just like this, and it can be a rectangular bookmark, or you can cut around the edges of your whale to make a whale-shaped bookmark. I like both. One of the things I've learned as a teacher and a parent is that sometimes making something can be frustrating. Obviously, I feel this way too when I make things, but I've learned that the more things that I make, the less frustration I feel when little things don't go exactly as I expected them to. Sometimes my tracing paper will rip, sometimes it will ripple, and I've learned to really actually love when that happens. I like the crackle of the paper. I love kind of getting past that little frustrating moment and ending up with something that's not exactly perfect, but somehow really lovely. Every whale turns out a little different, and sometimes my biggest mistakes are the ones I like the most. If you're making your whale with parchment paper, you can start by printing out your skeleton and filling in that bottom layer with the colors that you like best. You're going to trace the outline of the whale onto the parchment paper. All you really need to make that whale pop is that long mouth, big fin, and that beautiful eye. If you're using plain printer paper, cut a piece just the size of your skeleton bookmark and trace the outline of the whale. I like to fill in the bottom skeleton layer with lots of color. And then when I tape the top layer on, I add more detail. Sometimes I scribble, sometimes I'm careful. Sometimes I use colors that make sense and sometimes I don't. They always turn out beautifully. These bookmarks were a hit at my book launch party. And we also made beautiful whale skeleton cookies. And if you're interested in making cookies, I've linked this really cute cookie cutter in the description. Thanks for drawing with me today. I hope you love your whale.